I have been working with Dana, who is now officially my pattern writing helper, so that I can actually get these ideas out of my head. We have released the overview pouch. This is a totally free pattern, so I mean, you can buy it or not. Don't do anything exciting. Okay, Elizabeth, I'll try. So this is totally free. You guys can buy it through my website. I plan to buy it, like you actually pay for it. Get it through my website. I plan to add patterns to Craftsy at some point because I think it's really nice how Craftsy saves all your patterns. And I know some of you have emailed me before like, I downloaded this pattern, but I can't find it. And I'm always happy to resend it. It's not a problem. So yeah, I'm just gonna jump right in. So that this video can be referenced again, I'm just gonna go quick. I'll answer questions if you guys have them. But we tried to do something fun and have all of the additional cut pieces right here, so that way you can just have your pattern piece, especially if we decide to do templates for this. Like, hello, it's all right here. You don't have to look at the actual instructions. It's gonna be fun. So if that confuses you guys, let me know. I'm always accepting feedback on how the patterns go. It's hard to please everybody, but I think this one will be fun. It is a completely unlined pouch, which some of the pattern testers were like, no. So it's meant to be made for leather, vinyl, or cork, or anything else really that you can make unlined. So I'm just gonna do it really simple. Oh yeah, so this is my new sewing pattern. So I've got it cut out right now of leather. It's the cutest little size. It's got little boxed corners. It's gonna be fun. It is a curved zipper, so if you are new to that, anyway. So I've got 2 of my exterior pieces cut. I have 2 of the SF101. I think this might actually be the woven fuse, which is amazing. And then 2 of the contrasting cotton fabric. These are 6 inches by 4 inches, so I'm just gonna fuse these together really quick. Oh, and kick the camera, because why not? And because this is a free pattern, I'm literally gonna read the instructions out loud, so do what you want. So that's all done, fused it. So we're gonna take the 1.5 by 3/4 inch piece and grab a 3/4 inch D-ring, because I have those. And you can, of course, always change any measurements, enlarge, make smaller, do what you'd like. And this is a raw piece of leather, so if your leather is pretty thin, you might want to double it and fold it. Slide the 3/4 D-ring into the middle, fold in half, and base stitch in place on one of the sides of the main panel piece. You want to measure it 2.5 inches from the bottom. I don't have a ruler, of course. So 2.5 inches from the bottom. I'm just going to lay that in place and clip. And I'm using my basic home machine Juki, which is still a strong machine, but I wanted to show you guys that it should be easy enough with a regular home machine. So, got that basted in place. So there it is, basted in place. So now that's it. You're gonna grab one of these and fold it in half long ways. So along the 6-inch side. And then you're gonna bring those in so that there's no raw edges except for the top and bottom. And then you're gonna iron that flat. So you've got your raw edges that way, and then your fabric on top. Use lots of steam to keep it nice and crisp. So there's what that's gonna look like. So I'm just gonna repeat that with the other one. And this can be made from a like 12 by 12 square of leather, which is still expensive, but not too bad if you're just playing around. So there's that other strip. And this is Rifle Paper Co. canvas. And I still SF-101'd it. Okay, in half long ways, then open the fold. Take one of the main panel pieces and fold in half, matching the curves. And we're just going to make a little snip at the top so that we have our center. Fold it in half, and there's my snip. And repeat. Okay. And now you're going to lay this, and you can match up this center to that little snip. I'm going to use a little bit of basting spray. You can use double-sided tape if you want. If you decide you don't want to use cotton on your exterior and you want to use another strip of leather, you would just cut it to be a 2-inch piece. So there's what that'll look like. And repeat with your other one. And you can decide you don't want to add the main panels. You can applique a fun shape in the center if you want. Like, possibilities are always endless. Alright, so you should have about 2.5 inches on either side of the panel. And now we're going to stitch it down. About 1/8 of an inch along the 6-inch sides. And I'm just using about a 4-inch, or a stitch length of 4. And if you want to sew along the bottom, you can. The bottom and the top. Threads. Okay, so there's what that'll look like. There's the back side. Let's stitch this one. We are currently also working on the bomb.com beauty bag. I'm pretty excited for it. And then if you have a little bit of excess, it happens, go ahead and trim. Okay, so now there is an optional part where you can lay another thin strip of vinyl or leather or cork over top of that as well. And it looks super cute, but I don't necessarily want to cover up this print, so I'm just going to use the basic instructions. Okay, so now we're going to add the zipper. So I'm going to fold my zipper in half. And this is a 9-inch handbag zipper. I definitely recommend a handbag zipper just so you have that extra bit of zipper tape to play with. Okay. And I'm gonna start with this front panel. I know, right? It's so cute. And I'm gonna line up my center snips. So there's the snip on this main panel, and now I've got the snip on my zipper. I'm gonna clip it in place. And I'm just gonna add clips all around the zipper. If you have trouble getting your zipper around that curve, you could add the slightest bit of snips along your zipper. So you see those little tiny snips? And that'll help you kind of get them to stay where you want them to. You could also probably use really thin double-sided tape if you wanted. I'm using this machine just to show everybody that it doesn't need to be done on an industrial. It can be done on a simple home machine too. Hi Bernadette. Okay, so I'm adding another clip. And then at the ends of your zipper, you want to fold the tape up at a 90-degree angle. And I'll show you what that'll look like. So my zipper is facing down. And there it is folded at a 90-degree angle on those sides. And then we will stitch that in place, starting where the zipper is folded at 90 degrees. And back stitch, and just go really slow around that curve. Hopefully, oh, oh, there we go. See if we can. You definitely don't want your zipper to shift too much. I'm just following along the edge of my foot. It's probably about a 1/4 of an inch. And it's not possible for you to have that much seam allowance when you use an all-purpose zipper. And then back stitch. I also really like the automatic thread cutter on this machine. Okay, so now we are going to top stitch our zipper. If you want to make it a nice even top stitch, you can add little tiny snips to your leather as well, just so those curves sit flat. And now we're going to roll the seam down under. So you're going to be top stitching through this seam on top. So here's what it's going to look like from the other side. And if you need to unzip your zipper to help you get it going a little smoother, You totally can. So I'm gonna start top stitching right where my zipper teeth ends. I'm gonna back stitch to start, and then just very slowly roll that seam under. I'm even using white thread, so being real. And just very slowly top stitch, roll that seam under flat. If you're using a really thick accent piece, you may not want to use SF101 in your accent piece if you're doing the optional second overlay. I'm just going really slow, making sure I'm top stitching through the zipper. Folding that under, and you're just going to stop where your zipper technically starts. Add some back stitches. There we go. If you're using a bonded nylon that's going to fray, you can use a lighter to seal the ends, but we're doing okay. So there's what that'll look like up close. And there's the back side. I have not tried to make a lining for the pouch. I think my testers said that they tried because they're a little OCD about bags not having linings, and they were not super successful. So it's up to you. I knew this wouldn't be for everybody, but I thought it would be a fun way to get people to try leather and cork. And just a really good way to use up scraps. Some people don't even notice that things are unlined. They really don't. Hey everybody! Okay, so I snipped my zipper to help me ease it around the curves a little bit. And then again, we're just folding the zipper tape under and up at a 90-degree angle. Well, I guess just folding it up at a 90-degree angle. So, and then along the other side. And folding that up. How do I not have enough clips? They're at my other station. Okay. So it's all clipped together. We're going to start at the bottom of that zipper tape. And back stitch. Go nice and slow. This is the Juki TL2000 QI. This is my little Juki home machine. I use it for thinner projects. My industrial would have absolutely no problem making one of these, since it's actually the first machine I made one on. But the last few that I've made on this machine, just to make sure that all kinds of machines can sew it. Okay, so I'm clipping those curves one more time. If you wanted to, you could even trim the seam allowance down a little bit. And then we're just gonna roll the seam under one more time. I've got the zipper unzipped to make it a little bit easier. Roll it under and top stitch. And at those corners, the little curved corners, you can kind of stretch it out just a little bit to help you keep it all straight. So, yeah. Yeah, I love this machine. Actually, the very first industrial I bought was, I guess, a semi-industrial. It was the 2010, just to see if I could make it work, and I couldn't, so I had to get the 1181. Not that I'm complaining. Now, as I'm getting near the curved edge again, I'm just kind of pulling my zipper out and pulling the lining. It's kind of a complicated hand motion, but you'll know it when you feel it. Just to keep those seams straight. And then back stitch. Make sure it's nice and secure. Yeah, they're pretty adorable. Okay. So we're almost finished. I'm just gonna make sure I've got all of my little threads trimmed since it's unlined. You don't want those hanging out. Used to my other one. Yes, I definitely sleep. And sometimes when I sleep, I don't like to wake up. It's kind of like kinetic energy. Like, I'm awake. I don't want to fall asleep. And then when I sleep, it's like, I'm never waking up again. Okay, so you want to line up your pieces. If it's a little off, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. They've got the cutest little corners. I'm so excited to show you. There we go. Line up those accent panels. Okay, so here's what it looks like as we're lining it up. And then you're going to make sure your hardware is out of the way. If it's folded under into the seam allowance and you hit it with your needle, you're going to be very unhappy. And we're going to start right here where our top stitching for the zipper ends. And you want to back stitch. And we're going to go down, around, and back up. And then we'll square the bottom. And then we're done. I'm gonna unzip this, or zip it about halfway. If you wanted to add bias tape to the edges just to bind them, or yeah, bias binding, you could do that. Back stitch, back stitch, back stitch. Okay, and then it's about 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. Make sure your clips don't get caught. back up to the top, and I'm just going to start stitch and back stitch right where my top stitching ends. Okay. And now to square the bottom, you're just gonna poke your finger in there and then open your side seams as best as you can. And then I add a little bit of a clip, not a little bit of a clip, but I add a clip. And then repeat to the other side. You can unzip it all the way if you need to. So poke your finger in there, open up that seam if you can. Diane, this is the overview pouch, and it's a freebie on my website, and the link is there. Yeah, totally free. It's actually called the overview because I wrote and designed the pattern pieces while I was staying at my grandparents, and they live on Overview Lane, and I just thought it would be really cute. And also it's like an overview of my pattern style, so it worked. Okay, so about 1/4 of an inch seam allowance on that edge or that corner, and back stitch at the start and stop. And for this one I will trim my excess just so they sit nicely inside. So that's what that looks like. I know, right? I'm such a goober. If you want to stitch along that seam twice, just to make sure it holds, you can do that too. And I'm going to trim that. And we're going to turn it right side out and hope it looks good. Right? And it does. Of course it does. The little boxed corners are the cutest. And just kind of push out that zipper. Okay, so that's it. Aw, thanks. So you can choose to add the little clip or not. Yeah, they're just a fun little way to use up some scraps. Like you make a crossbody strap and you've got a little piece left over or something like that. You can change it up. You could add an applique to the center. You could add a clear window. You could make it completely out of clear vinyl or something. Like I said, most people don't even realize it's unlined. Like they really don't. No one's gonna care. Let the leather be the leather. I made this for someone else, but I really want to keep it. It's so freaking cute. If you're using the handbag zipper and you want to clip a little wristlet strap to this instead of adding the D-ring, you can totally do that. But yeah, that's it, you guys. So it's totally free. You can find it through the link on this video. And that's it. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody.